Hello, my name is Austin Newberry, and I'm very privileged to be here with FC Barcelona and La Liga. Hopefully, I can provide some good conflict management advice for that conflict going on there in Spain. First, I want to summarize that conflict and kind of talk about what each side feels and see where each side is coming from. So it starts pre 1975 when Franco ruled over Spain. The Catalan people felt very oppressed by Franco as he wouldn't let them speak their own language and repressed a lot of the things that their culture called for them to do. But the only place they were allowed to speak Catalonian was in the FC Barcelona stadium. So this is kind of the beginning of the connection between FC Barcelona and this independence movement for Catalonia, as they felt that they could speak their language there and live out their own culture there. FC Barcelona has become a huge kind of emblem for that movement. And then after 1975, when Franco died, that movement kind of died down and people were satisfied with being a part of Spain. But in recent times, starting in about 2010, the movement has come back and gained a lot of traction and is still very much in existence today, as there's a lot of people think there's a chance that Catalonia could break free of Spain and become its own separate state. So this is where the conflict between FC Barcelona and La Liga is. FC Barcelona is that team inside of Catalonia, and La Liga is the Spanish league that FC Barcelona plays in right now. And if Catalonia was to break free of Spain, then FC Barcelona would no longer be a team that could play in La Liga. And so we see a lot of issues that come with that. And so FC Barcelona, their kind of main goal here is to support their fans, right? To maintain that fan base, because that's where all of their revenue comes from, and that's just where their loyalties lie. And so they want to they want to support that independence movement, because that's what a lot of their fans hold on to, and that's where their most loyal fans are. But they haven't, as of right now, they have stayed. They've technically stayed neutral, officially stayed neutral, but are leaning towards supporting that independence movement. And then they also want to maintain that rivalry between Madrid and FC Barcelona. If Barca was to leave La Liga, then this rivalry that everybody loves, that is a huge source of revenue for both teams, would go away. And I think that everybody in Spain can pretty much agree that that's not what they want. And then third, FC Barcelona definitely wants to keep their star player, Lionel Messi, who in his contract could leave FC Barcelona if they were to leave La Liga, and that's and without a buyout too. So they definitely want to keep him around, and gives them a large interest to stay in La Liga. And so now, kind of looking at La Liga's side, we see that they want to uphold the rules that Spain has set out for them, and that is that only Spanish teams can play within La Liga. And so we see that they, as of right now, they are holding steady and saying that if Catalonia was to leave Spain, then FC Barcelona would no longer be able to play in La Liga. But that doesn't quite align with a lot of their other motives. They want to stay one of the top leagues in Europe, as they are right now, and that's hard to do whenever you lose FC Barcelona, who is a very well-renowned team. They also want to keep El Clasico, which is the rivalry game between Madrid and Barcelona, and they also get a lot of revenue from that, and get fans interested and keep fans interested through that game that is televised all over the world. And then, so we're going to kind of move on to what those solutions might look like, what negotiations between La Liga and FC Barcelona might look like. And first and foremost, the attitude of each party has to be willing to negotiate. You have to come in and realize that there are a lot of mutual interests between these two sides, even though there's a lot of conflict. Both sides definitely want to see El Clasico continue, and they definitely want to maintain La Liga as one of the best leagues in Europe, and keep it as one of those top four leagues. And so It's important that both sides stay focused on things they have in common instead of focusing on trying to best the other side and trying to um, do better at the expense of the other side. And so we're going to focus on integrative negotiations instead of disruptive negotiations. Try and stay as selfless as possible and keep the other side's interests involved or in mind. And then, in order to do that, you have to practice active listening and not make any assumptions about the other side. And just like, even though each side already knows where the other side is coming from, you have to listen to them and make sure that that you take everything that they're saying very heavily and not make any assumptions about that. And so, in order to get through these negotiations, we have to try and break through a couple of barriers. And the biggest of those barriers is obviously political. And so, I think that both sides are going to have to kind of disaffiliate with their political motives, because as long as FC Barcelona kind of stands with the independent side, then La Liga is going to have no incentive to let them back into a Spanish league. If Catalonia leaves Spain, they're going to associate them as being with the people who left. And so I think if Barcelona can kind of disassociate with the independence movement, then maybe La Liga will be able to bend their rules a little bit and let them back in for the betterment of the sport, for the betterment of the fans. And so, yeah, just hopefully both sides can set aside their political motives and do it for the betterment of the sport and the people in Spain and Catalonia as well. And yeah, thank you.